Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Nate learns the devastating news from Lily after Kane refuses to back down. When his phone starts ringing, Kyle is packing his train car. He gets a ton of messages from Summer and Claire. He realizes Harrison will be asleep in Milan, so calls Claire. Claire picks up Kyle's call at the TAC house and asks if he's okay. He tells her he is, but the chateau has turned into Kane Ashby's house of horrors. She asks, who is Kane Ashby? And Kyle explains that he's Lily Winter's ex-husband. He used the alias Dumas to amass his billions. He tells her about being brought there on a train and the storm washing out the road and tracks. They've been stuck with no way out and no way to call. Claire asks if it was beautiful. He tells her it would have been, if people hadn't died. Claire panics over her family. He informs her that they are fine, despite the fact that her uncle Nick has been injured and is in the hospital. But he's going to be okay. Claire asks if anyone has called her mom. He desired to talk to her. How are you? How's Cole? Claire says, he didn't make it. Kyle gawps. What? Claire says, my dad died. Meet Mark Grossman's new girlfriend. Kyle longs to hold Claire as she talks about the Legionnaire's disease. He hopes to be home as soon as possible. He asks when this happened. Claire tells him they are having a service today since they hadn't heard from any of them. Victoria comes down the stairs as Claire and Kyle express their love and disconnect. Victoria informs her daughter that she talked to her parents just now. They marvel at two people ending up dead and Claire asks who died. Victoria says her mother called from the hospital and had to be brief. Claire suggests holding off on the service until they get home. Victoria says they don't know when Nick will be released. Today could just be about the two of them saying goodbye. They embrace. Claire. Can Amanda talk Kane down? In his study, Kane looks at the surveillance screens and flinches as he recalls the sound of the gunshot ringing out. Kane. Amanda wanders in and asks how he's feeling. He is unsure of his response. She assumes he is stunned, as are all of them. Kane holds himself responsible for not being aware that Carter was unstable and required assistance. My God, 3 people have died. He hears from Amanda that the police investigation is basically over. The security footage helped, along with Carter's confession that he killed Damien. Kane asks if they bought the lack of cell service as an unforeseen event. She says she did, but tells him she unjammed the signal without his permission. He tells her she did the right thing. She asserts that he is safe. He inquires, am I? Kane doesn't know how to be okay with 3 people dying on his property. Jill, who is just like a mother to him, just lost her grandson and it's happened on his watch. He died saving his life. What if he gave Carter too much encouragement? He was aware of Lily and his aspirations for the future. Kane hears from Amanda that he cannot blame himself for this. They could not have foreseen that Carter would act in this manner. Kane feels he should have seen the signs. He could have gotten him the help he needed. Amanda. Kane is reminded by Amanda of his kindness to Carter. Kane says, now he's dead, along with 2 innocent men. Additionally, Nick is in the hospital due to his naive belief that he might be responsible. Amanda wants to think ahead to what's next. Kane says they'll play it out as planned. Amanda argues that the dynamics have changed considerably. He's gained more enemies than friends. Kane asserts that popularity was never the issue. He has a vision, and he will no longer back down now. Amelia's surprising pick for Vicky's love interest. Kane reminds Amanda that everything is about Lily. He's more determined than ever to see his plan through. Amanda worries he's underestimating his targets. Kane reminds her they were this close with Nikki. Amanda points out it all went to hell. She believes in his genius, but the families will be against him. Kane's not worried. He believes they can accomplish anything together, but he completely comprehends her decision to leave. She states, I'll stay. She leaves after he thanks her. Kane then clears his desk in frustration. Will Phyllis and Billy defend Kane? Diane, in the main train car, wonders how Damien and Chance's deaths could have happened. Jack rants that it's ended like this because of that monster Kane and his ego. Now 2 good men are gone. Billy reveals that it wasn't easy to tell Abby about Chance. Phyllis is dreading telling Summer. She and Chance were close. Diane discusses the tragedy of everything. Phyllis agrees it was senseless, but complains about everyone pointing fingers at Kane. Billy backs her up. Jack, appalled, insists that he may not have wielded the weapons, but the deaths are on Kane's head. Y&R Jack Diane they bicker as Billy and Phyllis defend Kane, saying he didn't intend for any of this to happen. Sally states that 3 people are dead nonetheless. Jack says Chance was such a good guy, always came through. Jill and Nina are going to be devastated by this loss. Billy is sure his mother will find a way to blame him for it. He is reminded by Jack and Phyllis that he was not involved and helped save people. Billy says Chance died a hero. More, Eric Braden surrenders to temptation. Jack makes the offer to accompany Billy when he calls Jill. Billy will leave that to Kane. He doubts she'd even pick up if he calls. This news is better coming from someone other than him. Audra strolls in and Diane tells her if she's looking for her son, he's not there. Diane Audra Y&R. Audra has no interest in tracking down Kyle. Diane tells her she's humiliated herself. Audra's not interested in defending herself given Nate's brother is dead and Amy will be devastated. She stalks over to Sally, who pours her a drink. Jack reads Kane's welcome note about wait and hope, and Diane points out they still don't know what his plan is, or W.A.S. Jack and company. Nate's day takes a turn. At the tack house, Victoria welcomes Nate in and tells him he didn't have to come by. He considers it crucial to assist them in honoring Cole. He says he briefly spoke to Audra, who gave him the sense that the chateau was quite the ordeal. He wonders if they've decided to hold off on the service. Claire tells her mother that she would like her grandparents and Kyle to be there. Victoria nods. They can wait a day or 2. Nate thinks it's wise to wait until they have more people to support them. Nothing cuts deeper than losing someone you love. Nate Victoria Claire Y&R. In her train car, Lily hesitates before picking up her phone and calling Nate. More, Victoria's shocking next move. At the tack house, Nate answers Lily's call and steps outside when she warns he needs to take the call in private. He asks if she's alright about Kane being Dumas. She says it threw her for a loop, but she's okay. Nate says she doesn't sound okay. He got the sense there was something Audra wasn't telling him. Lily says that's her fault. She hates doing this over the phone, but she didn't want to wait until they got home. She exhales. Nate, Damien is gone. Taking a deep breath. He was murdered. Nate tries to process this. Why? How? Was there a mishap? Lily cries. He was murdered. Nate asks how this is possible. Nate. Lily explains that the troubled assistant Carter killed him out of some distorted loyalty to Kane. He felt Damien was a romantic threat to Kane. Nate rants that they weren't even a couple. Lily admits they got together at the chateau and became romantically involved. In order to make room for Kane, Carter got rid of him. Nate asks if he was doing Kane's bidding. He believes what Lily claims, which is that he claims he had no idea. Nate hopes Carter didn't get away. He shot himself. Lily exhales. She cries that she just wanted him to hear about this from her. She wanted him to be able to tell Amy himself. Nate is amazed that Amy barely got her son back before he disappeared. This will crush her. Lily cries. I'm so sorry, Nate. This shouldn't have happened. He tells Lily to get home safe and disconnects. Lily phone. Nate re-enters the tack house and tells Victoria and Claire that his brother Damien was murdered at the chateau. He can't believe it. He thought they had a lifetime to get to know each other and now he's gone. Victoria embraces him. They urge him to stay. He admits part of him dreads going home to break this news to Amy. Damien being back in her life gave her the will to fight her cancer. Victoria says, my heart goes out to you, and to her. Maybe his years in medicine prepared him, just a little, to share this news. Nate says, this is different. This is my family. Nate Victoria Claire. This time, how will Kane irritate Lily? Kane knocks on the door of Lily's train car as she is wiping her tears. She scowls at me. He tells her he wanted to say goodbye before the train left. Is there anything you need from me? Lily thinks he's done more than enough. She just had to tell Nate that his brother died. She doesn't know where he is or how he took the news because she's stuck there on this train. Kane claims that the deaths will continue to haunt him throughout his life. She says, good. None of this would have happened if he hadn't decided to play God with their lives. Kane will make it right. Lily says he can't make this right. She has a realization and gawps. My God, are you still planning on coming back to Genoa City? Kane shrugs. Would it be the worst thing? Why and Kane? Lily tells her ex has caused nothing but tragedy. Kane still wants a chance to prove himself. Lily tells him he's deceived her on a massive scale. Why would she believe anything he says ever again? What will he say to their children? He built a fortune with his father, of all people. He insists that Colin changed and that changed him. Nothing he says or does will persuade Lily that he has changed for the better. The storm clouds over Genoa City weren't just metaphorical anymore. A sharp wind stirred the trees outside Memorial Hospital as Kane Ashby stood near the glass window, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the skyline as if drawing strength from the horizon. His jaw was set, his muscles tense. The hospital corridor around him buzzed with muted footsteps, low whispers, and the occasional nurse pushing carts, but Kane didn't move. He was waiting for Lily. He had just come from a heated confrontation with Victor Newman, who'd warned him in no uncertain terms to drop his pursuit of the truth. But Kane wasn't backing down. Not this time. Not after everything they'd lost. Not after what Carter had done. He wasn't going to let the Newman power machine bury the truth under legal technicalities and threats. He had seen too much, heard too much, and suffered far too long. He was ready to risk everything, even his freedom, to make sure justice was served not just for himself, but for everyone who'd been caught in Carter's twisted games. Lily Winters had tried to reason with him earlier that morning, pleading with him to walk away before things got worse. You don't have to carry all of this alone, she had said, her voice trembling. There are other ways. Safer ways. You're not thinking clearly, Kane. But Kane had only shaken his head, eyes dark with defiance. I can't let this go, Lily. Not after what Carter did to Damien, what he tried to do to Nate, and you. He's still got people out there protecting him, covering his tracks. I won't be bullied into silence. And now, Lily was the one carrying something heavier than either of them had imagined. She turned the corner, her heels clicking against the floor as she approached him slowly. She was clutching a file in one hand and pressing her phone against her chest in the other. Her face was pale, eyes rimmed with red. She hadn't slept. Not since the night before when she received the call that changed everything. Kane, she whispered, voice soft but hollow, like a bell tolling before a funeral. He turned quickly, his fierce expression softening when he saw her. Lily, what happened? Did something? He reached for her hand, but she flinched. I need to talk to you. And then I need to talk to Nate. Her voice cracked on his name. He led her to the empty waiting room nearby, shutting the door behind them. The air was heavy. Something was wrong. Very wrong. I spoke with the lab director myself, she began, unable to meet his eyes. And I made them rerun the toxicology reports. Twice. I had to know for sure. Toxicology. Kane frowned. Lily, what are you? It's Damien, she interrupted, finally locking eyes with him. There were anomalies in his system. When he collapsed, it wasn't natural. It wasn't stress or a heart condition or grief. Kane's mouth opened, but no words came out. His stomach dropped, blood rushing from his face. What are you saying? I'm saying. Her voice broke, tears pooling in her eyes. I'm saying Carter poisoned him. The room spun. Kane felt like the ground had shifted under his feet. No, that can't be. He was getting better, he was coming out of it. He wasn't, Kane. Carter had been dosing him for weeks slowly. Enough to weaken him, confuse him. He disguised it as supplements. Nate suspected something, but we didn't act fast enough. We let Carter into our lives. And Damien paid the price. Kane collapsed into the nearby chair, his hands trembling. Why would he do that? Damien was just a kid. What kind of monster? Lily sat beside him, laying the file on the table between them. It contained copies of emails Carter had sent, orders for the compound disguised through shell companies. Carter didn't just want control. He wanted to erase the past. And Damien was part of that past. Part of what tied him to you, to me, to his mistakes. I should have killed him when I had the chance, Kane said through gritted teeth. I let him live because I thought he could change. I thought maybe he was broken, not evil. But now. Lily squeezed his hand, firm but gentle. We can still expose him. We will. But I need you to stay focused. Kane, you have to keep your promise. Don't go rogue. Don't try to do this alone. But Kane's eyes had gone dark again. He's still out there, Lily. And if he finds out we know, he'll run. Or worse, he'll come after Nate. Or Claire. Or you. Lily nodded. That's why I have to tell Nate everything. All of it. Today. They both knew it wouldn't be easy. Nate had spent the last year trying to rebuild his life after the fallout from Carter's last attack. He had buried himself in his work, tried to start a new chapter. Telling him now that Damien's death wasn't natural, telling him that Carter had been behind it would destroy whatever peace he'd finally found. But there was no choice. The truth had to come out. An hour later, in Nate's penthouse, the tension hung like a shroud. The city lights sparkled outside, but inside the room was dim and still. Nate sat on the couch, fingers steepled under his chin as Lily paced back and forth. I wish there were an easier way to say this, she began. Don't sugarcoat it, Lily. Just say it. She stopped, met his gaze, and dropped the bombshell. Damien didn't die of natural causes. Carter poisoned him. We have the evidence. Kane and we've been digging, and it all adds up. Nate froze. He didn't blink. He didn't speak. It was gradual, she continued, voice trembling. The compounds were designed to cause neurological decay. That's why Damien was having memory lapses. The seizures. The paranoia. We missed the signs. We trusted Carter. Nate slowly stood up, fists clenched. You're telling me, that man murdered my nephew, and we let him live under our roof? Lily took a step forward. We didn't know. But now we do. Nate, I'm so sorry. His voice was a whisper, choked with disbelief. I held that boy in my arms. I promised him I'd protect him. I failed him. No, Lily said firmly. Carter failed him. We were deceived, manipulated. But we can make this right. I want him dead, Nate said, eyes wet, but his tone ice cold. I don't care what it takes. That's what Kane said, Lily replied. And I told him the same thing. I'll tell you, violence isn't the answer. Not now. We need justice. The kind that sticks. The kind that buries Carter forever. I'll do whatever it takes, Nate said, his voice hollow. Just tell me what to do. Lily reached into her bag and handed him a folder. This is everything we have so far. Emails, lab reports, a witness statement from a former lab assistant. We're building a case. But we need your help with the medical timeline. We need you to prove Carter had access and opportunity. Nate took the folder and sat down slowly, staring at the pages like they might bleed if he looked too long. He took Damien. I won't let him take anyone else. Back at Crimson Lights that night, Kane met with Amanda Sinclair. He laid the groundwork for what would become the most explosive trial Genoa City had ever seen. But Amanda, brilliant and unrelenting, warned him the road ahead wouldn't be easy. You're up against money, power, and a tangled web of loyalty, she said. Victor's people are already burying anything that touches Carter. If you want to win, you'll need more than passion. I've got passion, Kane said. And I've got the truth. She narrowed her eyes. Then be ready to fight dirty, because I guarantee you they will. Just as she spoke those words, Kane's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Stop digging or you'll bury her next. Kane's blood went cold. His eyes darted to Lily's contact photo. He stood up without a word, grabbed his coat, and stormed out. Amanda followed. Kane, wait. What is it? But he didn't answer. He was already dialing Lily. And when she didn't answer, his heart thundered in his chest. He knew then Carter wasn't finished. Kane's car tires screeched as he turned the corner toward Lily's apartment. His mind raced with worst-case scenarios. The chilling threat, stop digging or you'll bury her next, repeating in his mind like a warped record. He called Lily again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. His pulse throbbed in his ears. Meanwhile, across town, Lily sat with Nate in silence. The reality of Damien's murder hung heavy between them. She had just finished showing Nate the emails traced back to Carter's shell companies, the fake supplement labels, and Carter's access to the lab Nate had once managed. Nate was shaking. His mind was unraveling layers of trust he once had for a man who posed as a healer but poisoned from the inside out. Lily's phone buzzed violently on the coffee table. Kane. Again. She sighed. I'll answer it in a second.